Hey, we're hanging out here. What's Hot in the Strip Clubs podcast on Pantheon Podcast Network, Rockin' Pod 2023. And I have got Courtney Cronin Dold here with us. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love the Rockin' Pod. I've been here since the first one. So
Really?
Yes.
This is my first one.
Oh, well, welcome.
Yeah, well, good. Well, let me tell you, for those of you who don't know, she's a comedy writer.
For everyone who doesn't know.
For anyone who doesn't know, she's a comedy writer. She does stand-up comic and television producer as well. So let's start with the comedy writer part of it. Who all do you write for? Or who have you written for?
Well, my very first writing job, official TV writing job, was for Jay Mohr.
Okay.
He had a sports show on ESPN called More Sports, and it was a late-night talk show. It was such a fun show. We had like really fun guests, and then we'd have bands. Like we had Foreigner, we had Slayer. Like it was such a fun show. And then my next job was I did a couple things at MTV. I did the roast of Carson Daly. And then my next big job was a Wayne Brady show. That was like, so I worked with Wayne for the whole second season, and then I have like kind of found a way to keep working with comedians. I work on shows that are hosted by comedians or featuring comedians. So from there, I mean, my resume goes from like Disaster Date on MTV to BattleBots on Discovery.
Yeah.
Like I've worked on a very wide range of shows, but always comedy.
Yeah.
Always doing comedy, yeah.
Well, I got to see you last night from the day we're recording here at Rare Hair, and you were emceeing that. And I'm sitting there going, man, that's who I get to talk to tomorrow. So what was that like? I mean, because you're back there, you're seeing all these like major stars out there. What was that like?
That was pretty crazy. And you know what's great is that Don Jameson, who I hosted with, we're good friends, and we work together. We also write together. And just being in this world so many years and doing the cruises and, you know, opening for Craig Gass and opening for Don, you know, I've become really friendly with a lot of the musicians that were on stage last night. Like Ace Von Johnson's our friend, and Jeremy Asbrock, and Brandon Cook, and Brandon Fields. Like, a lot of the people we introduced are our friends. Yeah. So it was really fun, like, getting to hang with them last night. And, of course, it was really fun getting to introduce Eric Martin, which did not suck. And sit down. All right, here he is.
Hi, Robin.
Sorry. No, that's okay. Honestly, no one's going to notice. It's completely fine. It's honestly fine, Debbie. We're totally all friends here.
That is my Chinese name.
Alon is back with us now. So now we're here with Alon, Courtney, and me, Danny.
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking, I know we were talking about Eric Martin and working with him last night. And what a great performance he put on last night.
Oh my goodness. He gave us a little extra too. He was having too much fun.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's doing our show tomorrow, the show that I produce.
That too, yeah.
So like before we do it, we always do like a Zoom call and we have a chat, and like that's where we come up with the material. That stuff that, you know, there's stuff we already know because we're fans, and it's written from the point of view of a fan, of what a fan wants to hear from the person that's doing it, and that's how we kind of put it together. So nobody, if you know, I always say if you dropped your notebook and the notes fell, nobody else could ever tell these jokes. It would not work.
Right.
So I was saying, like, you know, from a fan's perspective, it's pretty exciting to have that. And when we were talking, he was telling us about how when he was young, he was roommates with Paul Taylor, and actually when Paul Taylor rode Miles Away, that he did the demo. And we thought that we tried to find a way to find a joke about it, but all the joke is like, how fucking cool is that? Like, there's no joke. It's just cool. You know, because that's a pants dropper. That's what women fans, we call it.
Yeah.
That is the pants dropper song for Winger, you know. And then, you know, 17 is the pull up pants and run out screaming. But we love that song. Chicks love that song. I mean, really, we just have a little bit of a different ear for certain songs, you know?
Sure.
And that's the pants dropper. So that was just super cool.
And Kip's smile, don't lie.
Kip's smile is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
So you're doing this thing with Eric. It's going to be tomorrow night from when we're recording now. It's the Punchlines. What is it? Punchlines and Backlines. Now, from what I understand, tell me if I got this right.
Yeah.
You take musicians, rock stars, who have never done comedy, and you're teaching them how to do stand-up comedy. And this is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm somebody who's always wanted to get the balls to do stand-up comedy. How do you teach stand-up comedy?
Well, here's the thing. There's the hardest part of stand-up comedy, two things. One's the confidence to do it, They all have the confidence. That's already out of the way. Likability and being vulnerable. So it takes a cool person, and somebody who's naturally funny in conversation, because that's usually who we go to, whereas like in the beginning it was just like Izzy Presley and I started it in LA, and Izzy helped me book it because he knows all these musicians. It was just friends. We just had like our friends doing it in the beginning. I mean, but they're established musicians. We had Jason Christopher from Prong and Corey Taylor's band. Jason was our first guest.
That's awesome.
And then our second guest was Patrick Kennison from Lita Ford's band and Heaven Below. Yeah, he was our second guest. So, and then Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat's done it. Genocide, lead singer of Paradise Kitty, the all-female Guns N' Roses band.
Yeah.
She was killer. Wow. We did a bunch of stuff. She's like, guys, musicians have groupies, but female musicians, we have creepies. So we did a whole thing about that, which was super fun. And we've had really great people. I mean, God, I can't even. Then we cheat sometimes. Like we had Hal Sparks, who's clearly a headliner. Okay. But in LA, the way we did it was at the end of the show, they would play an acoustic set, or awesome. Hal just brought his iPad with like karaoke tracks on it and sang rando Kiss songs. It was so much fun.
That's funny. But then you're giving them what they want to from your guest as well, right?
Yeah, it was great, and then we were trying to find the audience, which I think we really found with Rockin' Pod, with Kiss Cruise, and with Monsters of Rock Cruise, is really where the core audience for this is. It's just worked so well there.
Where did your love of Kiss begin?
I was always a Kiss fan.
Okay.
Like I had the tapes, and but I was non-makeup. More.
Me too. I loved the Domino, Out with Domino.
And Revenge.
Revenge, thank you.
So, me too. So, I was into that, but I was more into like Crazy Nights and like Lick It Up,
stuff. Yep.
So, but, I knew the older songs, but I wasn't like as into it, I was like, I liked it, I like Black Diamond, and, who doesn't like Detroit Rock City?
Right.
But like, the first time I did the Kiss Cruise was in 2013, opening for Craig Gass.
Okay.
You had on the show earlier.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He, very funny and amazing comedian. And it just like opened up the doors to this whole new world of Kiss. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize like how much of it I actually really did like and care about. And then I met so many great friends. A lot of them are here right now.
That's awesome.
And it just kind of sent me into this other level of Kiss fandom, where I perform at Kiss Expos now.
That's awesome, though.
And I hosted Bruce Kulick's special weekend in Vegas, and we roasted him.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I put the roast together with Lisa, with Bruce's wife, and wrote some jokes for the band. Don Jameson was the roast master.
Okay, roast master, yes, sorry.
I mean, that was really fun.
That's a blast. Roast or we do see. Most strip club DJs, like I've done some improv stuff, but I don't have the confidence to write the joke. Like when I second guess, if I write a joke, I'm like,
see, I would choke at improv.
See, I'm good at improv.
I would choke
because we do roasts all the time for bachelor parties.
Yeah.
And so you have your standard jokes to start it, and then I improv off how they react, right?
Oh wow, that's great.
But the question for you is, because you write a lot of stuff. You write and produce. For like Curb Your Enthusiasm, that's legendary.
No, I was in it.
Oh, in it. Okay,
I was on it for about 4 seconds. It's the most misleading resume item of all time.
But what was it like even being on set? I mean, there's some creative motherfuckers on there.
It was crazy. I was sitting next to Larry in makeup, and he actually started talking to me, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say.
Sarah Jane Simmons?
And it was just like, it was super weird. But yeah, that was fun because I used to work with Jeff Garland all the time. And when I was the MC at the Laugh Factory, Jeff was there all the time. I worked with him every week.
Right.
So it was basically through him and through Larry's person, who my sister went to college with randomly. She's a producer on the show now. And she's like, how about Courtney Cronin? And then Jeff was like, I love Courtney. Like, let's have Courtney.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they didn't even audition me or anything, which they probably should have done because I'm not supposed to for summer. I had like 3 lines. Larry Charles was the director. He directed Cheers.
What were your lines? Do you remember your lines?
Larry, your wife called. Don't forget to call her back. And see, like it was that bad. I basically delivered a phone message to Larry David. That's the highlight of my entire career. And after that, I'm like, yeah, I'm a writer. Can't do this.
But you've written for all sorts of people, right? I see Jay Mohr, Ken Jeung, Dale Hughley, Donald Faison, Chelsea Handler. Yeah. When you're writing for them, like that is a wide array of races and experiences and styles.
Yeah.
How do you put yourself in their shoes to write a joke for them?
I listen to them when they're talking to me. I try to watch as much stuff that they're in as themselves.
Okay.
That I can. Like Donald Faison is an actor.
Right.
And that show was his first hosting job. So he was like nervous and stuff. So we were together all the time.
Okay.
Like we were close and hanging and just talking a lot. And, you know, like even his first script is like, you know, they put in like, good evening. And I go, no, it's not going to say. I go, what would you say when you walk out there? He goes, I'm going to walk out and go, what's up, everybody? And I go, then go out and say, what's up, everybody? You're the host. So, you know, we just played around with a bunch of stuff. And actually this is kind of a funny story. While we were on set, the show was like a hidden, the guys from Punk did it. And it was like 3 comedians or comedic actors would do 3 different pranks, and then we'd have an audience vote on what the best prank was, and then Donald was the host, like putting it together. So, Finesse Mitchell, do you know who he is?
No.
He was on SNL for a while.
Okay.
He's a comedian, real good-looking man, very handsome guy. So when he came, in fact, Lunel, the comedian, she was up there between Donald and Finesse, and I thought she was going to like take them both down and rip their clothes off. It was because they're good-looking men, they're handsome men. So when Finesse came, Donald's on stage in front of the whole audience, and he said it on camera. He's like, all week, all the girls are going, Finesse Mitchell's coming. He goes, my writer was going, Finesse. And I go, no, I was not. No, I was not. I was so embarrassed.
You're sweating right now. What do you mean?
Oh, my God.
Just the memory.
It was so embarrassing. And then I didn't want to meet him.
Yeah. There you go. Well, Courtney, I know you got another interview to go to, so we're going to let you go. But I thank you so much for coming by. What's hot in the strip clubs? And we're going to keep following each other. We're Instagram friends.
Please.
I'm going to follow, too. I love comedians. I love your talent.
I love the name of your podcast.
There you go.
I really do. I'm like, I can't wait to talk to these guys.
Did you